I've been going to the gym and doing 75 dips, 75 pull-ups, 150 push-ups, 150 squats, do 20 minutes of abs. After my abs, I do the back extensions, you know, for maybe 3 or 4 sets to failure, and that's in and out in an hour, but it keeps me pretty strong. The old school stuff, the dips, the pull-ups, the push-ups, that's what it's all about.
We would just talk a great deal about, you know, the emotional reality of where we were and what was going on, and then the physical aspect of it just required a lot of training. I mean, the film initially started with like a furious workout sequence where Raleigh was channeling all of his rage and anxiety and angst into you know, exercise. And so he said, "You know, amigo, you must show up looking like a man who can save the world." I said, oh God, you know, because Brad Pitt ruined it for everyone in Fight Club, you know. We're just bringing the level of what's expected from a man taking his shirt off on screen to this really lofty place. So I trained a huge amount to get ready for this, and I'm glad I did, because once we got into the con part, it was the most extreme demanding thing that I've ever encountered. I mean, it was a torture contraption that Guillermo so lovingly describes it as. I had to be in good shape, and you know, and it's sort of boring, both the process of getting really fit like that and of even talking about it. But what's much more interesting is the psychological benefit of it. I did a lot of fighting, did some Muay Thai, some boxing, some jiu-jitsu. Guy, the director, is big into jiu-jitsu. But mainly, I set myself a goal of doing 1,000 push-ups a day minimum. So
1,000?
Yeah, for 6 months. And I'm a little bit crazy. If there's a day where I didn't get the 1,000, then I would punish myself and have to do 2,000 the next day.
Oh, honey.
Yeah, you know.
There's the boring element of actually creating a physique like that and then having to talk about it, which is just going to the gym and watching one's diet. But the much more interesting part is the psychological effect that it has. And if you're going to play a character like this that has to walk the walk and be intimidating, and Guy, I knew, was going to hire a bunch of contenders to fill out the cast, you want to go in with a little bit of a glint in your eye. So I thought, you know, it was important to... Anything you can do that mitigates the amount of acting you have to do on the day is always helpful. So I wanted to just feel, you know, feel a bit of swagger and feel like if it kicked off, I could, you know, whoop anyone's ass and twice on Sunday. I mean, I'm drawn to those type of characters, but in reality, I'm like a very small guy. Like, if I were left to my devices...
Wait, you're a very small guy?
Yeah, like if I didn't work out, I'd be 165 pounds. Like naturally, I'm like a very slim person. And so to feel formidable and to feel like I could hold my own in, you know, against these big dudes that they put me up against, I like needed to train every day. And it was much more about like feeling the right psychology than like some sort of aesthetic. Identifying what we wanted that aesthetic to be and what we... And beyond the aesthetic, what we wanted the psychology of him to be. And I always loved the idea that Arthur at the beginning of this film was like a wolf, like a starving wolf, like making it happen, you know, surviving in the streets. Right. So we wanted to be, you know, there's several instances that you see where he's running the shop physically, like you know, he's not afraid to throw down, even if it's more than one dude he's fighting. Right. But I also wanted to be very, very lean. So I just, you know, it was a combination of watching the diet, you know, keeping a really clean diet. And then I also wanted to be fast on my feet, you know, and I tend to, you know, when you lift a lot of weights, you can get like a bit swollen and slow. Yeah. And so I think the key is body weight, like calisthenic exercise, where I do an enormous amount of pull-ups, push-ups, dips, like non-weighted squats, and then just as much fighting as I could do. I was boxing, I was doing jiu-jitsu, I was doing some Muay Thai. One thing I got into a lot while I was doing Arthur was I started to skip. I did a lot of jump rope, a lot of pull-ups, a lot of push-ups. I would certainly never consider myself a gym rat. I really don't like the environment of being in a gym. I'd much rather be outside in a park, or, you know, go for a nice hike and do some push-ups on a rock or something. It's very difficult for me, but I'm trying to stay away from sugar as much as possible. Sugar is really not good for your body, both
obviously physically, but also emotionally, and it just, I don't know, it's sort of, I think it's a real downer.